AmandaLand, AmandaLand, AmandaLand.
What's up, y'all? Oops. I got it on. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Views from AmandaLand, your news and truths by any joke necessary. I am Amanda Seals. I'm trying a new hair thing today, but I got so many fuzzies that I don't really know if I really rock with it. I'm also very proud of myself because I really got down and dirty. Yesterday with the technologies of it all. And your girl got focused and I figured it out. So I was able to solve everything and we should be all good today. And yeah, we should be all good today. So here we are. Welcome to Views from AmandaLand. Y'all are slow to enter. It's 131 people here. If that's the case, then I'm going to eat some of my breakfast. I'm also giving you African auntie vibes today. Look at my outfit. My outfit is very African auntie. Hold on. It is denim. It is. Yes, it's a peplum. Good morning. It's the Smurf Blue. Cue stolen Shakira music. So I'm really proud of myself because I really got focused last night. Like, we're going to figure out this tech. And I figured it out. So, very proud of it. And it is absolutely denim on denim on denim, this look. While we're waiting for people to come in, so there was a big fire around my way. And it was in a housing complex that has a lot of Black folks and elder Black folks. So my neighbor, she put me on to what happened. So I donated. But I am also, and I'm just sharing this with you to give you ideas of ways in which you can help and be a part of community. And so I asked them, I donate to the GoFundMe, but then I hit the GoFundMe, which is the NAACP, and I hit them and I was like, okay, so where can I drop off donations? So then she hit me and was like, yeah, we are collecting donations. I'm like, where can I drop off donations? So then she told me, so then I said, okay, I'm going to come drop off donations, but also, like, what are items that people like really, really need so that I can do a Costco run and drop that off with the donations. But if you don't have money, something that you can do in your neighborhood, which I have done for Haiti, which I have done for, I did this for Haiti and I did this for Skid Row. I did this for Haiti and I did this for Skid Row. The volume was low, my bad. Is the volume better now? The volume was low. Apologies. So I did this for Haiti. I did this for Skid Row in LA. But what I did was I made a flyer and I went around my neighborhood and put the flyers in the in mailboxes, and the flyers were saying, hey, I'm collecting for this purpose. These are the things that we're collecting. can you drop them in the box in front of my house? And so I got me a big old box and put it in front of my house, and people came and dropped stuff in the house, in the box. And that makes it where it's like you're not burdened with having to, the feeling of like, oh my gosh, how can I give all these people things? But it also makes it to where like everybody feels like, well, even if I give one thing, that one thing will be applied with other things. So Rolando said, I thought you was going to say the LA host called HOA about the box. You know what? If it had been a box for Palestine, they would have. Absolutely, they would have. And so that's the kinds of ways that I've, figured out how to just grab people around. And Mona Lisa, if you're in rural areas where inviting folks to your house isn't the best and safest, making connections is a little harder, maybe think of a more centralized place, like if there's a general store or a place of worship, something like that, a more generalized place where most people are going to have to pass by or pass through. So shout out to everybody who is watching on Substack. Please join us over here at YouTube where it really goes down. If you're on Substack, you're not going to hear the fly audio that be happening. You're not going to hear the sound effects, and you're also not going to hear our guests. All right. So our guests today are Angelica Ross will be joining us, and we will also be having Kim Hassan for Black Around the World. She will be joining us to talk about being Black around the world and moving to Costa Rica. Okay, Costa Rica. Yes, Diana Craig, libraries is another place where you can try to do a drive. So the thing about it, though, is I'm just always trying to find ways to figure out how to be in community. And I will tell you this, and I say this all the time, community is inconvenient. I don't have time. I don't have time. But I'm going to find the time. I'm going to find the time. Okay? I'm going to find the time. And that's what I think a lot of us don't really want to admit to doing, is to figuring out having to find the time. And folks who have kids love to also do that. Folks who have kids love to also be like, I don't have time. I have kids. Cut it out. Cut it out. And include the kids. Okay? Include the children. Mm-hmm. So I'm giving people a little bit more time to join, because you said the mods are modding. Are there people in here acting up? Are there people in here acting up? Rolando, Elijah, Sandy, what are y'all doing? Who was in here acting up? I missed that completely. Listen, Sarah Palmer, people will try that excuse with their dog. I had a friend who's not my friend. The live looked like I wasn't going live today. Really? That's weird. I had a friend who's no longer a friend who would always be like, oh, I have to get home because my dog is in the crate. I'm like, you a lie. You a lie. She still found time to sleep with the same man that she told me I should break up with, or I should not mess with. She still found time to do that, though. She still found time to do that, though. Yes, Ebony Jordan, come on over here to YouTube, Amanda Seals TV. YouTube, Amanda Seals TV. Come on with it. Yes. Funny how that works, Sarah Palmer. Funny how that works. I love how y'all been knowing my stories, how Tiffany's like, oh, we talking about that woman. Because I have definitely mentioned her before. Remember, I am a Cancer and I'm autistic. So my justice, what's it called? It's like justice syndrome or something like that. I really, I don't play around with that. I don't play around with that. All right. So Reese asked, this would be a good conversation. How do you deal with trifling friends who sleep with your exes, you don't deal with them no more. That's it. You don't deal with them no more. If it's an ex, this is the thing. There needs to be a conversation, right? Like if you say to me like, you know, I'm really feeling so-and-so, but if so-and-so did you dirty, that's the whole thing. If so-and-so did you dirty, and then your friend is like, I'm about to go over here and do this. Listen, now I'm going to tell you something I did one time that some people are going to say is dirty, but I'm going to explain myself. Okay? So I used to mess with this dude. We really did love each other though. I mean, it was young love, whatever, but we did. Okay? But then he got caught up because he was at school and I was not, and he got caught up, and him and this little white girl decided they're going to start messing around, whatever. So I remember I came to school to visit, and I was like, where's Dub? Like, I can't find, like, he's not responding to my text. Like, where is he? And everyone was like, wouldn't tell me. And then finally, Leonetta, being a real one, was like, he messing with a white girl. He messing with a white girl named Molly. That's why he ducking you. That's why he ducking you. I was like, oh, okay. So I end up naturally, because there's only 5 black people at Texas A&M. So I end up, I bump into him, and he being real. He won't even look me in the face. I said, oh, okay. But then, no, not Doug, Dub, D-U-B-B. But then his homeboy the next night was trying to holler. And by the way, I just, in my defense, these are 2 of the finest men of all time. I'm not even joking. These are 2 of the finest men I have ever seen in my life. Okay? And that was when I was 21. I'm 43. And they are still, to this day, 2 of the finest men I've ever seen in my life. Reg and Dub. Okay? So, I had me a time with Reg. Had me a time. Now, by the way, Reg is an asshole. Dub wasn't really no asshole. I mean, he kind of became one, but that's just because life got him. Life got him. But then I said, so then fast forward, Dub circle back. Okay? Dub circle back. I will never forget this. We sitting at a round table in an apartment dorm, like in a college apartment. So you know how college apartments are. It's like, it's very much not like a regular apartment. It feels like this is a college apartment. And we was sitting at the table. I said, what's up? You got me over here. What's up? And he said, well, you know, I just feel like that whole situation right there was real avoidable. I said it was avoidable. And I didn't really feel like that was cool. You know, you messing with Reg and all. I said, I'm sure you didn't. And he said, but then my daddy told me, well, if you hadn't have made space for Reg, then Reg wouldn't have had time to mess with her. Papa Wright was right. Papa Wright was right. That father said, this is your fault. You want to go over there and mess with another one? Well, she gonna mess with who she want to mess with. Quit playing games and you won't get played. So that was that. So that was that. Someone said I'm still petty. It wasn't that I was petty. I was hurt, to keep it a buck. Like, I'm not a diabolical person, so I didn't even do that on some like, oh, I'm trying to hurt him. It was really more so I was still a very young person who did not really understand the difference between intimacy and sex. And I was also a very, I was still a very damaged person from lack of real care from my father. And so I feel like I really sought approval from men in ways that I don't in other places of my life. And it was really not a diabolical choice of like, I'm trying to hurt homeboy. It was actually more so like, I'm trying to feel better and I'm getting attention here, so let me take it. Now, but let me tell you, that doesn't mean it was a good decision. It doesn't mean it was a good choice. In hindsight, I wouldn't have. But like, that's the knowledge I have now, you know, and that as a young person, I didn't have that knowledge. And I was just telling my mama yesterday, listen, you didn't give me no tools to deal with these men. You didn't have no tools to deal with these men. So, you know, a lot of times when we're seeing young people, whether it's Cassie or Naomi Osaka or Halle Bailey, listen, we do not have the tools. And some of us are really driven and we have so much talent. And that is what is being focused on, you know, whether it's our talent or our intellect or our beauty, etc. That is what's being focused on. But we don't ever really get the actual skill sets of life that are needed. And so, you know, I think my mom years ago, she would have flipped on me, but now she know that flipping on me ain't gonna get nothing but a hang up. So don't flip on me. It ain't gonna get nothing but a hang up. Cause you also know that I'm not saying it to try and charge you up. I'm saying it because it's true. Like, we can sit here and judge all day long, but at the end of the day, like, if you don't got the skills, you don't got the skills. And if you don't have a sisterhood or a tribe of aunties, I didn't have none of that. I didn't have mentors. I didn't have, you know, this, I didn't have that. So I was just trying to figure it out, right? And I mean, it took a long time to figure it out. I talk about this in my memoir. When I eventually release it, you'll see it. But it's just the reality is that these men are also trained by the indoctrination of patriarchy, toxic masculinity, and so many women enforce that with them. They encourage that with them, right? So it becomes a matter of just really working through these forces, and you're gonna get hurt unless you have like real strong examples around you. And even still, you're going to get hurt because so many of us, even if we have strong examples, we like, I don't know if I believe that. So shout out to everybody out there, you know, just trying to deal with the situations. You know, our guest is not here yet, so I'm not sure what's going on. Oh my God, Rebecca, why did you not send her the link? Paying people when they don't do their job is maddening. Maddening. Hold on. Okay. Let's get into this. Let's get it. AmandaLanders here to learn. Okay, stop. Did someone just say no one is perfect in regard to sending out the link? Let me just tell y'all something. Expecting people to do the basic tasks that are asked of them is not expecting them to be perfect. All right? And I really just wish we would hold ourselves to a bit more higher standard. Okay? We love to be like, no one is perfect. And it's like, if you got basic tasks, handle the tasks. Okay, let's do it. Shooby-doo, boo, boo-ba-doo-ba-doo, boo, boo. Let's get it, come on now. AmandaLanders here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you're watching from. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. AmandaLanders here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you're watching from. We got Chi-Town, Westchester, Ohio, College Station. Andrew, you ain't nothing. Jacksonville, South Carolina, Vacaville, Cali, España, Maryland, LBC. Morning from the top of the mid Michigan, Upper East Side of New York City, National City, California, Atlanta, South Carolina, Oakland, cloudy London, Alabama, Greenville, North Carolina, Mesa, Colorado, sadly in Tallahassee, Barbados, Detroit, Hell's Kitchen, New York, Kenya, East Orange, New Jersey, Marin County, California, St. Louis, Dusty Union Square, NYC, El Sereno, Saudi Arabia, Austria, Norway. I think that might be our first Norway and our first Austria. Jacksonville, Florida, Duval, and Alabama, South Plainfield, New Jersey, Gregory's on the Ventura Freeway. Shout out to the 101, Canoga Park. That's also off the 101. What else? We got San Antonio, Texas, Jackson, Mississippi, and we got good old BK, Gaithersburg, Maryland, and all that. Upper West Side, Kuwait. What? Ricky's mama out there in Watley, Alabama. Thank you for telling me where you're watching from. And Muskoka, Ontario, Canada. Man, we got to get out the map, y'all. We got to get out the map because we had Kuwait, Austria, and Norway. And I know we didn't have at least one of them hoes. Okay. Let's see. Kuwait is right here. Bam! My stepmother is a Palestinian refugee who grew up in Kuwait. All right. And then we also said we got, Reese is funny, we on a world tour with Muhammad, my man. Shout out to Muhammad. Muhammad was always a cool guy. Going each and every place with the mic in my hand. All right. We got, we said we said Kuwait, Norway, and Austria. I don't think we had Austria before. Nope, we sure didn't have Austria before. Oh my God. Y'all, we are popping. We are popping. Jeremiah said, wait a minute. We are popping. So shout out. We got folks watching from all these places. Big ups, big ups, big ups. Okay. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. All right, for those of you joining on Substack, come on over to YouTube Amanda Seals TV and join us. YouTube Amanda Seals TV. That is where the real show is going down, and you'll get the full experience. You get the chat, you get the music, you get all them things, but you're only getting me on Substack, and that is really not the full experience, all right? So go to YouTube Amanda Seals TV. Amanda Seals TV. Angelica Ross has joined us, and it is time for us to get into our 60-second headlines. I know we didn't do a word of the day. Let's just do it real quick. Okay, let's just do it real quick. Amandalanders. Our word of the day is, hold on. Sheesh. Hold on. I decided I want this one. Our word of the day is testy. Testy. Easily irritated. It's an adjective. Testy. After meeting Kamala Harris, her aides came in and asked me how it went. And I said, one of y'all is going to get fired because she was very testy. I could tell she didn't really want me there. And they said, actually, there were many people who said that they didn't think you should come, and she was adamant that she meet you. Testy. Testy, an adjective meaning easily irritated. Can anyone use testy in a sentence? Reese said, the pollen going on in the UK is making me real testy. Okay. Yes, Laurel. Oh my God, I see you with this one. When I have to repeat myself multiple times, I get testy. Yes, very much so. Carmen said, I'm testy this morning because my grandson cried at 3 a.m. Damn, grandson, we trying to sleep every day. Nellaroni 87, I've been testy every day. I have to go to the office now. Ugh, F returning to the office. I feel you on that. Dion said, after stepping into my new role, I learned quickly how testy I made my immediate associates. Ooh, you better shake the table, Dion. Mario says, why would she insist on meeting you and then be testy about you being there? Mario, exactly. All right. OSPC says, I'm feeling very testy in these times we're living, but I'm managing in there. All right. You got to manage. Miss Bless 313, shout out to the Detroit area, said, when people want to make Amanda Seals do extra work, she gets a real testy. That is facts. Rich said the high quality whites headed to Egypt reached their testy limit. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. All right, let's get one more. Let's end it right here. Little Alphabet said this perimenopause is making me testy in a whole new way. Me and you both. Let's get into our 60-second headlines.
AmandaLand.
60-second headline. And I run down some news right quick.
Run it down, mama. Put us on.
Welcome. Nice mug.
Oh, thank you. You this little thing, you like it?
Love it.
Oh, wait. Wait.
Oh, and that's an old school one.
Oh, yeah.
That's an old school. Wow.
Amanda, I've been down with you for a while, girl. Let me tell you something. I was getting my hair braided the other day, and my hair braider called me a queen of manifestation because of just all the stuff that was kind of happening that day that she was witnessing. And I have to say, yes, because I have been manifesting a long time because you've been a best friend in my head for so long. And I said, okay, you know what? But I'm gonna give her the time to figure that out. But yes. And I put on my reading glasses for you too, just in case I need to read.
I appreciate that. I've been telling people for quite some time that I really do believe that the glasses make people listen to you more. Like that's, part of me going back to my glasses was like, oh, I'm about to be saying real things. So let me be
Yeah.
spectacled.
I used to wear glasses. I used to have a prescription for glasses, and then my doctor said that somehow my eyes went better than 20/20 vision. Must have been the glaucoma medicine. I don't know, but now the girl has gotten, better vision. Things are more clear these days.
Fascinating.
Fascinating,
Wow,
yeah.
I'm really impressed.
I'm sure it'll deteriorate soon, but yes.
Well, people are like, "Oh, do you want to do the LASIK?" And I'm like,
LASIK,
"No, no, I don't. I don't want to do the LASIK." So people who don't know, Angelica Ross this is what your Wikipedia says.
Okay,
so
because
right,
the Wikipedia told my full tea. I went on there one day and I said, "Now, who the reporters on this one?" Because they got down to my previous fiance and everything. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, wow.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was married. I was engaged to be married once to a doctor. Yes,
To a actor, yes.
to a doctor. Yes.
Well, they said that you are an American actress, a businesswoman, a transgender rights activist, a transgender right advocate, and a self-taught computer programmer, which we do know from you doing Small Doses podcast.
Exactly. Yes. I don't like to consider myself a trans. And people do that, and I get it, and I totally get it why. But like the reality is, I'm a human rights advocate.
There it is.
And it's just I don't really understand how we got the word. Kimberly Crenshaw introduced us to intersectionality, and yet people are failing the exam. They're failing at intersectionality as advocates. So I just, I think this is a part of and I'm gonna bring some Buddhist stuff to you, but I always say with Buddhism is your responsibility is the ability to respond.
Okay.
So I just think a lot of people right now are don't know how to respond to the current times right now. Need a little help with that.
Facts. I agree with that. They and I think some people they may be trying. But they're not really there yet.
But it is pertinent that we respond to the things that are happening. It's not on the responsibility of any one person, to take responsibility for our society. We all collectively, add up to what this is. So it's all of our responsibility is what I'm saying. Not just the people who they call advocates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone should be an advocate.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get into this real quick. The Tulsa mayor.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Okay, so let me just get y'all together real quick on this. So Tulsa's new mayor, who is their first black mayor, oh Lord, who is their first black mayor, he is getting a lot of press right now for proposing a $100 million private trust as part of a reparations plan to give descendants of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre scholarships and housing, and help in a city-backed bid to make amends for one of the worst racial attacks in U.S. history. His name is Monroe Nichols. Now, he doesn't use the term reparations, okay? He doesn't use the term reparations. He says
white people. You got to try not to white people.
He said it's politically charged, and his sweeping plan he calls instead a road for repair. Now, let me explain what the plan is, and then I want you to tell me if you think he is actually a reparationist or if you think this is just being called this when something else is happening. The funds raised by a private trust include $24 million for a housing fund and $60 million for a cultural preservation fund focused on reducing blight. The plan wouldn't require city council approval, although the council would need to authorize the transfer of any city property to the trust, something he said was highly likely. Although details will be developed over the next year by an executive director and a board of managers, the plan calls for the bulk of the funding, $60 million, to go toward improving buildings and revitalizing the city's north side. It would also not provide direct cash payments to descendants or the last two centenarian survivors of the massacre?
Baby, I just know that both those mothers, Mother Randall and Mother Fletcher, it's like, it's been 104 years.
Okay.
It is taken how long for this to happen? And really, I think, right now it's still a plan. Now, thankfully, we have something at least going forward. But you see that this is the difference. They pointed out the fact that President Biden stood in the same space, and basically finally called it what it is, a massacre. But it's like that was him just saying something at that time. And now we're getting to somebody actually doing something. It reminds me of the time like Adele's on stage accepting the award for best album, knowing that it's been an injustice to Beyonce. And she said something on stage. She said, this is injustice, but that's all, and walked away and said goodnight with her award. So there was no actual solidarity to make some change in that moment. Biden hadn't did anything, and nobody has done anything about reparations until this time. And now we've got something that actually looks like a plan. So at least we've got a plan. That's in my eyes.
So you feel like this is reparations? I don't feel like this is reparations.
No, but I'm saying no, but that's why, because again, when we're in a society when we have to continue to skate on ice,
Why?
to say because when we say defund the police, that created a whole situation where people were like, oh, it's just the language. It's the way
Yeah, but people capitulated to that.
Exactly. And no one says anything when it's like defunding education. So what I'm saying is now we've got this mayor who's now saying he's not calling it, like you said, reparations. He's calling it something else. So we're still in a place where I don't think we want to upset the white people. And so I don't think that it is going to be fully what we expect. But I do think that it at least is opening the door.
I think it's opening the door to giving contracts to hopefully Black companies. But I don't know that those Black companies are actually serving the community, because
Correct.
We really have an entire sector of Black folks that consider themselves to be Black middle class or the Black bourgeoisie. And they do not by any means consider their connectivity to Black people as a community. Like they look at themselves as like, I got out, so I'm here. And I feel like when I see a lot of Democrats, that's where they exist. So we'll see. I mean, I feel like when you're not going to give people the money, I don't like it. And I don't like his face.
What's wrong with his face?
I don't trust it. I don't trust his face.
You listen, I will say this. I don't trust any politician. And honestly, dead ass. And that's why the last time we spoke, and I was telling you, that I have been considering a run for office. You said something at the time that really stuck in my head. It was like, there are no pretty people in office. And I really had to sit with that because I was just like, she's right. And I'm a pretty bitch. So it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. So, but also, the way I watched them do Corey Bush and Jamal Bowman and sell them out to, AIPAC. I have been consulting with consultants over the past couple of years, ever since I made the announcement that was like kind of leaving Hollywood and going into politics. Mm-hmm. I have been trained by the Victory Institute, by Vote Run Lead here in Georgia, for candidate training and running for office. And I am just shocked at what I've learned and discovered. And it's just not good for me. It doesn't work for me. I just remember talking to these people who, some of them had ran for office too. And they were talking about me needing to focus on what's important to the American people. So when I was talking about Gaza, then when I was talking about our tax dollars from Georgia, $10 million, each state, there was this point in which each state could give up to $10 million to Israeli war bonds. So our tax dollars were going to that and not to the broken water system that Meg Thee Stallion had to postpone our concert because the, infrastructure had broken down. So it's a situation where I'm trying to point out these things, and they're telling me, people who were advising me about my run for office, they were telling me, Angelica, you have to understand.
Mm-hmm. Once it starts with you have to understand, I'm already like, no, I don't. But go ahead.
You have to understand that that is not what's on most American people's mind. The war is going to be over by the time the election is done, and we're going to be moved. This was before, this was kind of early on in the situation, and to me, it was a marker of how grave of a difference that they were seeing things than how I was seeing things that are going to be affecting, people on the ground, and that this would be almost the issue that kept Kamala out of office. But then to recognize that when you're running for office in a party, you're talking about how things affect things down ballot when you are also one running, and when you are not in line with the establishment, it becomes incredibly hard. So then I'm thinking maybe I'll run independent. And then I'm realizing, but it's the Democrats who are filing lawsuits to make sure that independent voices aren't on the ballot.
Talk to them.
So is that democracy? So my thing is, they're talking about saving democracy, but while also being impeding it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So the cognitive dissonance, so many things that were going on there. I realized, no, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life to think about running for office. You and I both were speaking up so much and using our platforms as we do during the election season. I thought I was quote unquote famous, and has some reach and things, but everybody I knew, the circles I had and started turning my voice off and turning it down, and started not saying, you are hurting the cause and all these different things, when all I'm doing is asking for accountability, like Kamala and Biden both said to my face that I would have an open line of communication with when I met them several times. So I'm not somebody looking for a photo op, I'm looking for accountability. And so that when I was using my voice and doing all that, and people were treating me like they were treating me, I didn't care about being blacklisted from Hollywood because I left Hollywood. But when I was out here doing the things and speaking, I didn't know my own LGBT community was also controlled by Zionists. Yes. Because HRC and GLAAD and all these organizations have been quiet this whole time and didn't say anything until a white girl actress from Hacks was accepting her award and then said something, and they're all applauding. Of course, we're going to applaud the white girl when she says something, but we're going to suppress and remove the people of color and everybody else who don't have voices. I've been suppressed. I've been removed from almost every job I've been removed from, and people are acting stupid. So I got on Threads one day and I said, I don't like the way that y'all been treating Amanda Seales. I don't know if you didn't see it?
I didn't see that.
I caused a ruckus. It caused a ruckus.
There was a ruckus.
It was a ruckus. I said, I don't like the way y'all been treating Amanda Seales. And I said, low key, the reason why is because y'all don't understand the same things you are saying to her, people are saying to me and about me. And they try to make these to try to distinguish. Well, it's just the way that you say it. It's obvious that you have love for people, this, that, blah, 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 and tone policing. And, what I realized when so many people were coming at me when I was defending you and saying these certain things, and even people have pulled me to the side and was like, that's not the hill you want to die on.
I need to know who those people are, Angelica.
We'll have a side conversation.
And
the reason why, and these are people who I consider to be friends, right? But at the same time, what I said about you on Threads, said about you on Threads, no one stood up to say to me. No one said, I don't like the way y'all been treating Angelica. No, mind you, people did. People I don't know like that. Right, you know what I'm saying? Fans and people who know that you're saying the things, but no one who was a friend.
These people aren't really our friends, though.
That's what really I found out.
That's what you really find out. Like when people that I've platformed over and over and over again, all of a sudden are like, oh, I can't put you on because it's my birthday that day. So they may have plans for me. So let me go see what they got planned for me. It's just be weird little thing. And you like, so, okay, got it. there's certain
And I just
individuals.
realized with you, Amanda, this is what I realized. People pick and choose. People are very pick and choosy when it comes to protecting Black women. People
Oh
are
yes, well,
very
I don't count as a Black woman.
right.
For a
Well,
lot, for a lot of people.
for a lot of girl, you my sister, so I don't care what they talking
But
about.
for a lot of people, that's really what, like, you light skin, your mama from Grenada. I have some.
I don't know them people. I don't know her. I don't know them
and
people.
so, like, that's for a lot of people. It's really, I talk white for a lot of people. So, like, I don't fit their metric. Like, I haven't, like, for some people, it's literally like, did you go to jail? Like, that's actually some people's metric on if you are Black, which is sad.
I see people every day caping for the worst people, and here's the situation, and my Buddhist practice has given me a different definition for celebrity, and it's just all about a reflection of who and what we celebrate, and people celebrate the worst people. And so what I know is when I started really breaking things down, number one, you and I are more like that, you girl, but secondly, I started to see the things that people were saying to me on the side, or even the people that were doing it. I was just watching a reflection and getting to see, like a fly on the wall, how people were talking to me, talking about me.
Right.
I trust. I don't care about the tone. You may not say this, blah, 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 but I tell you one thing, I trust your voice now more than I trust a lot of other people.
Thank you, my love. Thank you. Sip to it. One thing I will say
real
is
recognize real. Real recognize real.
It does. Real recognize real. And at the end of the day, tone is just something that particularly when I am not speaking directly to somebody, like if I'm just on a video, to take my tone personally is a choice. If I'm speaking to you directly and you say, hey, the tone you're speaking in is giving me some type of feeling, then we can talk about that, right? And I'll either explain to you, like, I can change it, or, we can get a better understanding, because sometimes I can't change it. And then a lot of times I won't change it because ain't nothing wrong with the tone.
Well, baby, they call me Miss Ross the boss for a reason. And the thing is,
Amanda.
and the thing is that sometimes as a boss, when you're running business, you can't say everything nice, especially when you paying people to do stuff, like you said, to do certain things. Like, I don't have to be nice all the time about.
What is the nice part? Like,
I don't
that's
know.
the thing. It's really a coddling.
It's only put on Black women, I think.
I had to fire somebody. I had to fire a brother one time. And I said, you know what, Amanda, you going to try and talk. You going to Tabitha Brown this. You going to put on a mask and Tabitha Brown this, okay? Now, that's not a mask that Tabitha's wearing. That is who Tabitha really is. But I put on a Tabitha mask to pretend for this man, okay? So I put on my Tab mask and I said, hey, baby, okay, so this is how this is going to go. We're just not working well. We're not working right. And unfortunately, this just isn't a match. And so we're going to have to move on. Do you know that his boss, because like it was my radio show, so I had to let go the executive producer. So his boss hits me and is like, did you have the conversation to let him go? And I said, yes. And he said, because he doesn't think that you fired him. I said, what do you mean he doesn't think that I fired him? Our next guest, Kim, is rolling. He says, what do you mean he doesn't think you fired him? He said, because he said that you were so nice about it, he didn't believe you. Now,
but that's how men are. That's how men are. You have to be so direct when you dating and stuff like that. You cannot be nice about a no.
I don't want to date no more. Somebody's going to
I'm definitely not.
Somebody's literally going to have to come and find me and then stick around, because I'm going to be like, no. They're going to have to offer up skill sets. They're going to be like, do you want a path down to your hammock? I can make that happen. Please do. Like, it's going to be a work of proving your character, your stamina. They're going to have to read my entire memoir, all 150,000 words. I will provide it to them. I won't even see them again until they've read the memoir. It's like, literally, it's going to be like this. It's going to be like a suitor. You know how the suitors would show up like, I would like to, except they're not showing up to my mom or my daddy. They're showing up to me and they're like, I would like to pursue you. And I said, okay, here is your text. Here's your syllabus. Read it through. If you still are interested after that, you can come back and we'll see if I'm interested in you. That's what we're doing now.
I'm not giving no cliff notes. I'm not giving no syllabus. I'm not giving nothing. Trans ain't even a factor for me anymore at this point when it comes to dating, because I don't care. Because the situation is, I'm Angelica Ross. So if you cannot see the value in dating me, kick rocks. Keep it moving.
Listen, I dated somebody back in the day who is still my friend. He was like, I just feel like men need a manual for you, because they really don't understand that they cannot show up at whatever they were. They have to level up. So he was like,
I think the patriarchy and then women playing to the patriarchy has just made condition men to do the least, because I just feel like we're all human. So the point of any kind of relationship is to pay attention to that person and learn that person. You don't need a manual. You need to just be inquisitive enough and curious enough and interested enough. Not only are they not, so many of men don't like actually hanging out with women. They just like treat you like fleshlights. Yeah.
I found 2 white men attractive last week.
Girl. Can I tell you that I finally started answering back some of the messages from the white men? It's pain, girl.
I didn't like
and
that.
it ain't even in me. It ain't even in me.
And listen, like it was very irritating to me, just for the same reason that, mind you, y'all, we're gonna go to our next guest. We have not talked about anything, Angelica Ross, about our topics. Nothing.
We did. We talked about the 104 years it took to get to the preparations.
We done talked about 104 years of things. But I will say this: the reason why I say that I was attracted to white men and it struck me was because it was very much just like one of those things where you're like, I've had to just consider just a larger span. And I will say, I can't ever see myself with no white man, but I think that there's ultimately just a reality around,
you deserve love.
And I do deserve love, but I will get more cats before I do that. I think I am getting 2 more cats. Their names are
with you.
Their names are going to be Palma Sankara and Patrice.
I can't do cats because I'm definitely allergic, but they're cute. They're wonderful, but they will take my breath away, literally.
Really?
Yes. They literally will suck the breath out of my lungs.
Say that, and then they come to my house and they don't even realize I have cats.
Well, you must clean a lot and have a robot. Because I have 2 Dobermans. Oh, well, that's a major thing. Yes, I have 2 Dobermans.
You have 2 high cheekbone dogs? I'm mad.
Sure do. They be wearing me out though, but yes, I do have 2 Dobermans, and I have to take a Claritin every day just to deal with the allergies.
Because whenever I have people over, I have a Claritin tray.
See.
So
I'm telling you, allergies no joke. Did you just see the guy die because he couldn't afford his inhaler?
I mean,
$539 for an inhaler.
Mm-hmm.
I have asthma. I have asthma in 2016. I collapsed in the pharmacy looking for some Primatene mist that they stopped carrying because I didn't have an inhaler anymore. I collapsed in the pharmacy. I was sipping air like this because I could not breathe. I ended up taking an Uber to the hospital. This was the night before I met President Obama and went to the Pride celebration. I met and did that whole thing. And my boyfriend at the time would take moments with me in the corner so I can catch my breath just from being there, because I was still feeling it from being in the hospital. I almost died, yes, but I was going to be at that White House. And that was the day I met Obama in a private room, come out to where he's going to speak to everybody else, and the room's already full. So I can't see everybody and see what's going on. And then when I hear a woman yelling in the audience or someone yelling in the audience, that was Geneset Gutierrez, who was, they said, heckling the president, and they end up kicking her out for asking him to stop deporting people. You know, they call him the deporter in chief.
I'm going to talk about that a little later. Well, Angelica, you got to come back.
I will. You know it.
You got to come back.
Because we got to do this. You know what I'm saying? We got to support each other. Just know I'm here supporting you because I know how they're doing you, because that's how they're doing me. They're doing me the same way.
I didn't even know that, or else I would have been on it.
They literally.
I left. I was like, I'm gonna just go be over here at my house. That's how when people be talking about like, you was trying to take Kamala down. I said, no, I actually got off that internet for 3 months to let y'all do what y'all do. And y'all kept my name in your mouth. And
The whole
that
time.
was your fault. You
The whole
kept my
time.
name in your mouth. You kept using me as a tool to try to manipulate folks. And that is your fault. You
Absolutely.
kept misusing my words and editing my words to try to use me and discredit me, which you will never do because I am anointed. No weapon
Formed against me.
shall prosper.
Tell us, sister, it won't work.
Whoa, it won't work.
No
All right,
weapon.
now,
Amen.
Angelica, you're the greatest.
Yes. Thank you so
and
much.
I will have you back shortly.
Please.
And,
You know.
we just going to keep doing what we're doing. We're just keeping it a buck and being a real one.
Absolutely. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, that was a good time. But I still got to talk about how Israel be lying and Minneapolis ain't playing with ICE. So we're going to get into that after our Black Around the World segment. Let's bring our guest onto the stage. AmandaLand. Black around the world, black around the world. Black around the world, black around the world, black around the world. So we international. Passport. Hey. Yeah. I saw the shoulders.
Love it.
Kim Hassan, how are you? Is it Hassan?
I am doing Hassan. Thank you.
Okay, Hassan, how are you in Costa Rica?
I am doing. You got to roll that R, girl.
Yes.
Trill it a little bit more, but yes, I am blessed.
Can we turn the camera just a little to get you sent? There it is. There it is. I love the yellow. I love the teak in the back. I love it all. So we are here, you all, for another segment of Black Around the World. And we have Kim Hassan with us, who is the owner of Mecca in Costa Rica. And first of all, I always have to give people a little bit of a geography lesson. Okay, so let's get some context around where Costa Rica is. So for everyone who doesn't know, Costa Rica is in Central America. It is between Nicaragua and Panama, and it is on the isthmus, which is when there's water on two sides, right? So we have an island is water all the way around. We have a isthmus is water on two sides, and then what's water on three sides, y'all? Anybody? What's water on three sides? Peninsula. Yes, I like to ask them like it's a class. A peninsula. So, Costa Rica is also very beachy because it's on both sides, but it's also very green. Kim, when I was driving in Costa Rica, at one point, I kind of like, my aunt was driving, but I kind of started to feel claustrophobic because it was like green above me, green below me, green to the left of me, green to the side of me. It was just like green everywhere. And I was like, if we don't get out this jungle soon, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then we got out. So what side of Costa Rica do you live on? The Pacific?
I live on the Caribbean side, which is in the province of Limon, in large part because I'm going to be honest, that's where most of the Black people live. And until 1949, they were required to live in the Limon province.
Is that right? They were required to live in the room.
There are other words. Yes, segregated, but yes, required. Yes.
Now, was that when Spain was running things?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
They had their independence a while ago. That was just internal Costa Rican dynamics.
Internal Costa Rican dynamics. So what made you decide, you know what, let me get up out of these states and get on down to Costa Rica?
Truth be told, I quit my job October 2021 because they pissed me off. You have to just get to that point. You're like, what the hell with this? I quit. I have enough money. I got real estate. I don't have kids, knock on wood. So
Wait,
how much money
stop.
do
Who is that behind you?
Billy D and Sadie Mae. That's Billy D. Look like
I
his
can't
daddy,
even see them because hold on. I have to move your banner because I have to see them. We have to see the dogs. Billy D. Hello, Billy D. How is Billy D? And there's Sadie Mae.
Sadie's
hey,
right
Billy
there.
D and Sadie Mae. What y'all doing today? Well, you know, my
They
cat
laugh.
just passed away, and my cat's name was
I'm
Lando
so sorry.
Catrici. It was Lando Catrissian, and Lando, if you know, was played by Billy D. Williams. So
That is his nickname, Lando, as well as Colt 45.
every time. Uh,
There you go.
so the job pissed you off. You don't got no kids, and you said, "I'm out of here."
So, yep, I'm like, you know what? I've never had a really extensive vacation. So I took a sabbatical to Bocas del Toro, Panama, which is an
Ooh.
archipelago, another geographic term for you, which is an array of islands.
Mhm.
And on this one island, it was an Afro-Jamaican island called Bastimentos. No roads, no cars. So I walked through the jungle every day, or I took a boat everywhere. It's like summer adult camp, and it really simplified stuff. And I really realized the only thing I really need is good Wi-Fi.
That
And it
sounds
was
like
sort
something
of
I want to do.
post-pandemic. You should do it. And it's only about 2 hours from where I am now, probably less than that. So I got here because one weekend a friend said, "Hey, Kim, let's go to Puerto." I said, "No." She said, "Let's go anyway." I'm like, "Fine." We came. I'm like, "This place is nice. It's paradise." It's hard to describe. You have to experience it. It was lovely. So I came back the following weekend and I bought this place. Again, none of this was unplanned. I'm just making this up as I go. His will.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, what was it that you feel was driving you at this point? Because, like, when you make these types of decisions, if something is pulling you forward.
I think it was the notion that I did not want to go back and find another corporate legal job. I think it was complete burnout. I'm like, how much do I need? And I realized, why wait till I'm 65 to enjoy the life that I want now? So I used the money from my prior life to finance my new life.
That's literally what I'm doing right now. That's literally what I'm doing right now. I'm using the money from my prior life to finance my good life, my new life, which is a good life in that it doesn't center money.
Right.
What did you do previously? What was your career for most of your life?
I was a attorney for over 20 years, mainly working for energy companies.
That'll drain
Right.
you.
Who you telling? I purposely did not choose other areas of law like family law or even criminal law because I didn't want to take that work home with me. And truth be told, if I wanted to care, I'd be a social worker.
Got it. But then you end up working for the Devils.
The devil pays well, but yeah, you got to get out. It's called the golden handcuffs because they keep paying you, gaslighting you, especially in corporate America, the way they gaslight Black women. But that's a whole nother story. I'm like, you know
We
what?
got
I'm
time for
getting
that
caught up
story.
in there.
We got time
That
for that
feed
story.
my ego. I'm believing this stuff. I'm like, oh, you my ally. You my ally. No, you're not. You get me to be the mouthpiece to do the shit that you can't do or don't want to do.
Are y'all listening? Look at Kim's face.
Yeah, I wasn't playing. Yeah, no, I was embarrassed at myself. I'm like, damn, I got caught up and I thought I was better than this.
Damn.
They got me.
What was the moment when you feel like you got that clarity? Because I don't know that clarity would happen while you're there, but tell me.
No, you're completely right. You have to get away from all the noise and just the external factors. So I was sitting on a porch in Bocas del Toro in Panama. Some monkeys were flying on a tree. Some kids were playing. I'm like, this is peace. I really found out what peace was and serenity. Because even while you do have vacations in America, you're always rushing. You're always checking your email. You're not completely out of it. I was completely out. So I could really just focus and listen. It was quiet. I could listen to myself and my thoughts.
And then when did it hit you? Hold up. I got played.
When I start reflecting, I'm like, she said this. This bitch is full of shit. Again, you just go back through your experiences. I'm like, and I really was just so mad at myself. Believe in the stuff that they tell you. And all these corporate buzzwords, they sending you all these trainings, these leadership, organizations building you up. It's bullshit. They just keep you in that train, chugging along in that corporate world. Work, 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 work. And people actually brag, oh, I've never taken a vacation. I've never taken a sick leave. That is crazy talk. And now that where I live now, because with the hotel, most of my guests are Europeans and Germans. They're in this country for like 30 days.
Yes.
Right. They vacation. And I'm like, I was shortchanging myself.
How have you forgiven yourself?
I allow myself a lot of downtime because before I had a to-do list every day of the week and I can account for every hour of the day. I stopped. This is all I'm doing for the rest of the day. I'm exhausted already. I'll probably walk to the beach.
I'm exhausted already.
It's 9:30, girl. Yes. I do as much or as little as I want in a day. And I've gotten over that guilt because in America, you feel guilty for just laying and enjoying life and not doing anything. It's okay to just lay and be.
So you then decided to start Mecca.
Yes.
So can we talk about Mecca, which is your space in Costa Rica?
Yes. So initially, I intended to buy a space and I would rent it out and it could be like my vacation home. I
So it was going to be
came
like you go back to the States, but like you'll get income from this in the meantime, in between time. That was the original plan.
exactly. And so what
Okay.
I said was I will give myself 3 months to interview and find a job. And if I don't find one, then I'll just pivot and I'll just live here. Truth be told, I self-sabotaged every interview that I had. I was rich.
Got it.
So I bought this place, let's see, May 2022. I left my mother down here because I had to go back to DC to sell everything. And again, I'm ashamed of how much shit that I acquired in my life. And half of it was still in Amazon boxes. I haven't even opened yet. So mama stayed down here. She met a lot of people. She met a whole bunch of friends and enemies, truth be told. So she gave me a nice foundation. I came back. I started building. So I built first a casita. I built a pool, a 2-bedroom casa. Renovated the 3 rooms upstairs to add bathrooms. And I just opened. Well, not just opened, but I opened 2 years ago.
And how's it going?
Girl, I have no complaints. I don't want to get into the money, but it's all right. I don't want to tax man in my business now.
It's all right.
Yeah.
What has been positive surprise and negative surprise in living in Costa Rica?
The positive surprise, it was seamless in terms of just my transition.
Okay.
It was not as difficult as I thought it was going to be. I did not speak Spanish prior to moving here, but aprendo todos los días. I'm learning all the time.
All the
Out of
time.
necessity, you don't realize how strong you are. And I will say it, Black women, what can't we do? All we have to do is we have to have a plan and we have the means to execute that plan. So yeah, the people here are beautiful. They allow you to immerse in the culture. Also, there's a very strong expat community here, in particular, a lot of Black expats. So there are enough of us I can pick and choose who I want to hang out with. And we have lots of social events all the time. I'm always having dinner parties. And August is month of the Negro. So everybody in town, I don't care what color they are, even the children, the parents, everybody's wearing dashiki. It's beautiful.
What?
Yes, and the parades are gorgeous.
They went from segregation to month of the Negro and everybody wearing dashikis. All right now. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I love it. And so what was a negative surprise?
The negative surprise is it goes back to being an American consumer. It's not easy to source a lot of materials here, so it makes you be creative. For example, they don't have a lot of furniture stores here, and the furniture that they do have, I didn't necessarily like the quality. So what I do is I have my people build all my furniture. So behind me, that's a big old headboard.
Right.
So all my furniture I had built. So it allows you to be creative when you don't have all these stores and Amazon at your finger.
Got it. Now we got some questions from the people.
Sure.
Reese is in London. He asks, Miss Hassan, how was navigating the pandemic period in Costa Rica? Were there much restrictions?
No. And by the time I had moved, the restrictions had started to be lifted for the most part. So it was, again, not that difficult at all.
And Sandy Parker asked, Miss Hassan, would you mind sharing what the startup costs were?
Sure, I tell you, I'll tell all the business. So I bought this for $157,000. I had to buy it because that's a 6-minute walk to the beach, right? So it's 775 square meters,
I'm
which is
sorry,
like,
what did you say?
you heard me, girl.
Oh.
157,000. I built this 2-bedroom casita for 25,000. I built the 1-bedroom for 9,000. Look at your face. I also just bought another 1.5 acres because I'm about to build a family commune, a compound. I was gonna start a cult, but that's too much paperwork.
It's too much paper.
It is.
Not I was gonna start a culture.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. All right. Now, is it difficult to find construction like contractors?
No, that's the thing. This industry here, they're doing nothing but building. So the number one industry right now in this part is tourism, but number two is construction. So everybody knows somebody who does construction. My neighbor across the street, I used him quite a bit. I fired him because he didn't show up a couple times. I'm like, all you got to do is roll your drunk ass across the street. But still, he's still my friend because this is a fishing village. You can't burn bridges. He's still my friend. I speak to him. And I still use him for other things, though. But you source. Everything here is about recommendation and references. So, and prior to being here in America, I did a lot of renovations because I had a lot of homes. So
Got
I
it. So
enjoyed the
you already
process.
had the knowledge when you got there.
Yes.
How do you get to where you are? Because I know that was the tough thing for us in Costa Rica when my mom and I went, that the traversing the landscape, it's like nothing is really like close per se. So how do you get to Mecca?
Great question. And I tell people in advance, there are no direct flights to paradise. So you have to fly into San Jose, and you can either take a very small plane to Limon, which is about 45 minutes from Puerto Viejo, or you can again fly into San Jose and either take a shuttle, a bus, or drive, which is about 4.5 hours.
Got it.
And another reason that we're sort of not as popular or known is because we're not the closest beach to San Jose. And most Americans and Canadians fly into San Jose, so they go to the Pacific side.
Yes, I do believe I went to the Caribbean side. I can't remember where. There was a rainforest park. Like the beach was in a rainforest and it was like in a protected park, and you had to like pay $1 for them to take you on a boat over the water to go over there. And all I did was eat avocado for several days. And I just remember my mom and I and my aunt, we were in like our room, we shared a room, and we heard this sound. And my mom was
Yep.
like, ah! And like jumped in bed with me, and she was like, what is that? What is that? And we were terrified the whole night because it really felt like we're in Jurassic Park. And then the next morning they were like, that's a frog.
How about you just brought that up? We also have that same noise, but they're howler monkeys.
Yes.
And when they were producing Jurassic Park, they actually took the sound of the howler monkeys to put in the movie. Fun
See?
fact.
Yeah, howler monkeys is like, if you don't visibly see them making the sound, you would
Right.
feel like, oh, I'm about to die, like right now.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Hassan, this is from OSPC. Had you visited Costa Rica prior to making the move, how did you know what area you wanted to reside in? So did you know that Limon had this particular history before you went there?
No, but I knew that I wanted to be on the Caribbean side because for the most part, that's honestly where most of the Black people live in Central America. And it's also where a lot of the British settled. So I knew there was some English speaking. So no, I had not visited Costa Rica prior to. It just feels comfortable here. And again, you cannot describe it. You just got to come and feel this vibe. So we have a lot of young Black healers here, hippies too, but don't get me started on that one.
Yeah, I mean, we did an episode of my podcast with a young lady, Naylee by nature, and she talked about going to Costa Rica and meeting a lot of white folks who she felt like were colonizing spirituality.
Ayahuasca ceremonies in particular, yes, ma'am, they sure are, and monetizing it.
Yes. How do you balance being a Black American in Costa Rica without being a gentrifier?
That is a great, great question. And that G word is popping up left and right in this community because the local people, they're called Ticas or Ticos, are feeling displaced because especially after COVID, a lot of digital nomads and others have come in and the rents have gone through the roof. So now they can't live in the city proper. They have to move further out. So to answer your question, how do I try to balance that? I source all of my labor. All of my workers are all local Ticas and I pay them above price
Nice.
and I'm making sure I pay my taxes.
Making sure do you pay taxes in the States still?
Stop asking me questions.
Next question. Miss Hassan, would you ever move back to the US or is this truly a permanent move?
Great question. And no, I have no intention of going back. I
Why?
travel throughout Central America, South America. What the world is too big. And once you've left America for an extensive period of time, you realize there is so much to this world besides America. And even I think about America, it depresses me. I'm not gonna lie. I was just I'm not gonna lie, I was an angry black woman in America. I used to go off every day. I had edible
Mm.
arrangements on speed dial because I was always pissing somebody off. And I did it on purpose a lot of the times because I was transferring aggression from me to them. I'm gonna take this angry monkey off my back and I'm gonna put it on yours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is there any awareness in Costa Rica of what is happening in the United States and how it's changing? Like, do you feel it trickling down to conversations that take place around you, or do you feel isolated or protected? I should say that's a better state.
Thank you. Protected, because truth be told, even if you try to engage some people about these conversations about America, they cut you off. They're like, "This is not why I'm here. We came for peace." And it's even thinking about it is stressful, and we don't do stress here. I don't, in particular. So no.
Can you tell us more about the family compound that you're envisioning, that you're making?
Yes. It is bounded by a creek, and a river. And I intend to build first, starting probably this week, a 2-bedroom. And I went to Nicaragua and I fell in love with courtyards. So I want to have a huge courtyard in the middle, probably with a pool and a seating area. And from there, we can expand. My mother wants to build her house. I told her she's going to build it on that way, way on the other side, yelling distance from me.
I
And my brother wants to build, my sister as well. So I'm like, come on, I'm here and I will facilitate the building process.
So this is a family compound for your family.
Yes.
Fabulous. And now how do they feel about you leaving the States?
They love it. My brother and sister were here last week. They just left. And my mother is here 8 to 9 months out of the year. Right. Yeah.
Well, we here at Views from AmandaLand are continuously trying to just expand people's mindsets around living outside of the United States and really just understanding that we have been tricked into thinking that the United States is like the best at everything. And we are really not the best at much. We're the best at gaslighting. We're the best at manufactured consent. But I was just talking to my landscaper yesterday about how, you know, even amusement parks, like, you know, in the US, everyone thinks, oh, Disney and Universal. But when you go to like Mexico, they have like ecological parks that are a whole other experience where you're like in a lazy river, but the river is mud and you're in a cave and it's stalactites. And he was like, what? I'm like, yeah, like it's actually an amusement park for your soul. Like, so I really love being able to just show people how folks like you have expanded your horizons. And do you feel like your moving has impacted the people around you outside of your family? Like, has it inspired any other sisters to say, let me get up and get out?
Yes, I get questions all the time about, Kim, what was your process? Why did you pick this people? How can I do it? And I threatened to start a podcast or something. I'm too lazy. I'm not going to do it. But I say a lot of things. But it would be a good means by which to tell people how to practically move. Because people do have podcasts about being an expat, but they really don't tell you specifically how to do it.
Why do you use the term expat versus immigrant?
It's a great question, my friend. I use it because that's the terminology that's been bandied around. But truth be told, I am an immigrant.
Shout to you. Because, you know, Americans love to be like, we're different. No, you immigrated here. You an immigrant. Well,
and the locals do call us immigrants. Quit playing.
The locals are like, ma'am, Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience, sharing Mecca. I'm gonna show y'all a picture again. This is so beautiful. The painting, the vibes, the tile. I need to make my way down to Mecca. And
Please do. And that's my face on the wall.
that is
Back when I had a perm, but yeah. I have like at least 7 different Black female faces throughout. I'm like, if I put all these other bitches on the wall, I might as well put myself up there.
Kim, let me tell you, whenever you're ready to start your stand-up comedy night at Mecca, I will come down because you got the timing, okay? You have got the timing. Now, where can folks learn more about Mecca? What's the site?
Great question. It's MECCACR.
Is it MACCA.com? Okay, got it.
So yeah,
All right,
MeccaCR.com.
So go to
and
Mecca.
Just straight up Google Maps too. You can call me.
There y'all have it. So if you are ready to go down there and get you some peace and get you some quiet, head on down to Mecca in Costa Rica. Thank you, Kim, for joining us. Don't do nothing for the rest of the day. You know,
I'm about to lay down already.
Woo-hoo! I mean, your dogs are already giving you inspiration, so let them show you their culture. Yes. Have a good one, sis. Thank you so much. Yes, Mecca! Y'all, we got to go. That was fabulous. Go to meccacr.com. Delisa says she gave Miss Winslow vibes and she will cuss you out and then ask you, do you want something to eat? That's exactly. That is definitely the vibe. She will cuss you out and ask you if you want something to eat. Thank you so much to Kim for joining us. We learned so much about going to Costa Rica. And I love how she was like, the process was real easy. But these are the types of things that I'm trying to bring y'all views for AmandaLand. I mean, at this point, I feel like we have never had a guest on that didn't teach us something, that didn't put us on. And that is why I continue to do this show. So thank you for everybody joining. We're in the 11:30 hour. Hit us up when. Oh my God, did you see what just happened? I was just about to tell y'all the phone number to my old radio show. 1-855-262-6328. Nope. Join us at YouTube Amanda Seals TV right now. We are here in the middle of Views from AmandaLand, your news and truths by any joke necessary. Rolando's like, by any joke necessary. Now that segment was brought to you by my podcast, Small Doses. A new episode premieres today with Claudia de la Cruz, who was the Party for Socialism and Liberation. She was the presidential candidate, and she is right here talking about socialism on Small Doses Podcast.
What are you feel like some of the biggest misconceptions around socialism?
Socialists are going to eliminate private property. Therefore, if I own a house, they're going to take the house. Yes. Socialism and communism are against private ownership. But let's consider this. When you buy a home, you got to get indebted to buy a home. So the bank actually owns your home, which means that the desire of socialism is to take the profit motive out in that transaction. Every human being deserves to have housing. Therefore, housing is a human right. And you wouldn't have to pay 60, 70% of your income to a bank to keep your house. Why do we need health insurances to get health care?
I mean,
someone's getting a lot of loot. Someone's getting a lot of money because people are sick. That shouldn't be a profit-making industry.
Make sure to check out Claudia joining us on joining us on Small Doses Podcast this week. Side effects of socialism. Now, we had some more stories that I wanted to talk about, so we're going to get into them right now. I want to get into the reality that Israel is lying yet again. So we know that the Freedom Flotilla, the Madeleine, has set sail from Italy. There was a bit of a shook ones moment last night where there was a drone flying overhead, and the last Freedom Flotilla did get attacked by an attack drone. So they were really scared. They were asking for folks to share. So I made a unique, decision to share for visibility on Instagram that they were out there at sea. It turns out it looks like it was a Greek Coast Guard drone, but nonetheless, they are scheduled to reach Israel they were scheduled to reach Gaza on the 7th. This is what Israel's spokesperson for their occupation has to say about them arriving in Gaza. Hold on. Why am I not seeing this? Hold on, y'all. Sorry. I thought I had the video loaded up. And it looks like I don't. What? Where is this video? All right. Hold on. Hold on, y'all, because I need y'all to see this video. And I'm not sure why it didn't make it across the internets. Why it didn't make it across the way. So, in the meantime, in between time, let me point out that we have been seeing so much of what I'm very happy to report is, I am very happy to say that we have been seeing a lot more pushback around Israel's BS, okay? We've been seeing a lot more questions being asked by people like Pierce Morgan, which actually surprises me, but being asked of them saying like, wait a minute, you're not telling the truth. You're just not telling the truth. Like, it's not a matter of opinion. It's not a matter of, whether or not we have the facts or you have the facts or they have the facts. No, you're just not telling the truth. And seeing this at this stage in the game is kind of wild because it's like, okay, they haven't been telling the truth this entire time. Nonetheless, I do think it is actually very telling. And I don't know if you all know this, but there was actually a what's the word I'm looking for? A journalist who was a part of the Nuremberg trials and was actually sentenced to hang for his role in the Holocaust, for his role in advancing the messaging, for advancing the terrible scapegoating that took place. And I'm sorry, but the media is king. So if you are a member of the media and you are continuing to push these narratives, BBC, I'm talking to you, then I can't wait for the day when you have your day in court. Now, listen to this Israeli spokesperson who had the nerve to talk about what they were going to do when the Freedom Flotilla arrives.
לעדכן את אזרחי ישראל איך צה"ל מתכנן לנהוג במשט ובמשתתפים שלו?
גל, צה"ל ערוך להגנה על אזרחי מדינת ישראל במרחבי הגנה קדמיים בכל הגזרות, בצפון, בדרום, במרכז.
Okay, so I'm going to translate for you what they're saying for the people on the podcast. They said, we are prepared to defend the citizens of Israel in the forward defense areas across all sectors, north and south, and also in the maritime arena. We operate day and night to protect the maritime space and the borders of the state of Israel at sea. In this case as well, we are prepared. I will not disclose our deployment methods. We have already gained experience in recent years, and we will act accordingly. What are you defending yourself from? The Freedom Flotilla is literally an unarmed sailboat that has humanitarian aid being brought to the starved people of Gaza. So where's the defense? The way in which anti-Semitism continues to be just thrown out here is also now the way in which they're throwing out terrorism and also the way they're throwing out defense. Defense is to protect yourself from offense. There is no offense happening. There literally is no offense happening. As Nadaleje says right here, they're defending themselves from freedom. That's what they're defending themselves from. This is bonkers to experience in real time, y'all. But let's talk about the Freedom Flotilla, which is supposed to dock on June 7th, all right? And it is named the Madeleine. And the reason it's named the Madeleine is for Madeleine Kulab. And Madeleine Kulab is the only woman fisherman in Gaza, aka a fisherwoman. Okay? She is one of one. She is 29 years old, and she started fishing with her father. And she's now married, and her husband and her, they are out there on the boat every day. And for those who don't understand, fishing is a large part of Palestine's identity. You can even see a fisher's nets in the pattern on the traditional Palestine kufiyah. See the net right there? So Gaza is, the work of the fishers has been severely restricted through the Israeli blockade. That's actually how Madeleine met her husband, because the Israeli blockade was attacking his boat, and they have messed up 3 of his boats. And one time she was out there with her boat, and so they ended up helping him and bringing him to shore, and that's how they met. So shout out to the Madeleine, which is named after Madeleine. And by the way, she is not only Gaza's only female fisher, she is also the only certified rescue swimmer. So big ups to Madeleine. And I actually found a picture of her, so I'm going to show you who Madeleine is while she does her fisherman tangs right here. And I think that's a beautiful name for the boat. And I'm really glad that that was not a drone last night that was attacking them, but instead they are continuing on their path. As for Israel saying that they're going to attack them, I'm not surprised, but I am disgusted. So there's that. Let's get into our next topic before we get out of here. Minneapolis. Shout out to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. So Minneapolis has never been about the BS. If y'all don't remember, the George Floyd murder took place in Minneapolis, and activists set a torch to the actual police precinct. So let's look at some BT News footage of the Minneapolis people standing up against ICE. So, apparently, according to the Minneapolis PD, ACAB, they were not there to do anything having to do with ICE, which is odd because they pulled up at 11 a.m. with masked agents and vehicles displaying Homeland Security investigations, which is a division of ICE. So the Minneapolis PD claim that they were responding to a request to assist with crowd control and help ensure public safety because officers supported federal law enforcement in safely departing the area. The MPD was there to execute a warrant for apparently money laundering, whatever. Why are you dressed like you're going to war is a great question, Dietrich Poitier. Why are you dressed like you're going to war? Now, Hakeem Jeffries, who I can't stand, and is the minority leader of the House Democrats, had this to say when he was asked why they are masked.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that.
So that was House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who I asked on Tuesday about Democratic efforts to unmask and identify ICE agents who last month physically accosted Congresswoman LaMonica McIver during an oversight visit to an ICE detention center in Newark. And then just last week, harassed staffers for Congressman J in New York.
This is America. This is not the Soviet Union. We're not behind the Iron Curtain. This is not the 1930s. And every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified. That in fact is the law.
What are you going to do about it, Hakeem?
And we're going to make sure that the American people have the transparency necessary to hold people accountable when they're folks who cross the line.
How? How are you going to do that, Hakeem?
Pablo Manriquez, editor of Migrant Insider, the first and only immigration news outlet here in our nation's capital. Please subscribe to support our work at migrantinsider.com.
So make sure to subscribe and support their work at migrantinsider.com. We know that we need them to specifically be reporting on these topics, migrantinsider.com. Now, I want to remind you all of something because I keep seeing people say, y'all voted for this. Y'all voted for this. I want to remind you that Kamala Harris ran on a platform of that she would be more harsh on immigration than Donald Trump. She ran on that platform. I want to remind you that it was Kamala Harris who had come to the podium and said, if you are looking to come to America, do not come here. I want to remind you that Kamala Harris, under Joe Biden, was a part of an administration that out-deported Barack Obama. Yes, Barack Obama was the deporter-in-chief, and they out-deported him. I want to remind you that even though Joe Biden came into office undoing some very problematic immigration laws that your man's Donald Trump had put in place, they then redacted that. They then regressed. And in an effort to appeal to a white centrist Republican base that they don't even have, they said, you know what, we're going to actually pass the immigration package. We're going to try and push that through. And it was only stopped in Congress because Mike Johnson was like, oh, we're going to take it off the table because Trump wanted it to pass when he got in office. Then the Laken Riley Act happens. The Laken Riley Act was literally created as a bipartisan bill signed into law on January 29, 2025, that mandates the detention without bail of certain non-citizens arrested or charged with certain crimes. Now, some of these crimes include burglary, theft, larceny, shoplifting. You are incarcerated without bail for shoplifting, assaulting a police officer, or crimes that result in death or serious bodily injury. The range of those crimes is bonanzas. And of course, it is no surprise that we have seen this immediately abused and applied to all immigrants at will, regardless of their status. This started with Democrats. This has been continued with Democrats. You're not going to hear me yell about Republicans because it's obvious. You're going to hear me yell about the ones who are hiding, who are wolves in sheep clothing, because those are the ones people continue to put their energy behind, thinking that they're going to act different. And those are the ones that people are also aligning their identity with. And if you're aligning your identity with Democrats at this point, baby, your identity is sideways. You need to get in that mirror and check yourself because you have wrecked yourself. And that's how I feel about that. Now, this segment was brought to you by my Substack. Go on over there and subscribe to Substack Amanda Seals. My Substack is called Ethically Rude. Go on and hang out and check it out. I'm very proud of what I'm doing over there. So you can get into it and subscribe. And I do what I used to do at Twitter. I mean, not Twitter. I do what I used to do at Instagram over there. You can catch me on live. You can catch me on, like, I do like kind of like posts. Yeah, like posts, notes, etc. So come on and join. Come on over to the Substack. For some reason, I can't seem to, in this immediate moment, find the graphic, and it's like driving me crazy. But I'm very proud of what I'm about to start doing over there. And I know that a lot of you all are readers, and that's what Substack is really about, like reading. And so it is a different type of content than just watching videos, even though I do videos over there. But I feel like we need to, of course, continue to just diversify the way that we're taking in information. And we've gotten a little bit too comfortable with just watching videos. So come on over to Substack and check out Ethically Rude, which is my Substack where I talk about all the things. Okay? All right, y'all. Well, that's it. That's the show. I got to go and head out. I got some things to do for the people today. And I got Taekwondo later on. And for those of you all who are new in the chat, let us know if you're new in the chat. I know some people are new here. I'm seeing that. And I'm really happy to see that folks are coming over to Views for AmandaLand. We are about to get out of here and be doing the show once a week. And when we do once a week, I better see y'all here when we do the show once a week. I better see y'all here when we do the show once a week. I'm probably going to be on live later tonight because I have to put together our orders for the latest drop at AmandaLand Exports. We have a new drop that ideally will drop on Friday, but I can't make any promises because honestly, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, my head is so committed to this show that it's like everything else gets pushed to the side. And then the minute I finish the show, I'm like, okay, now we got to do everything. But I also want to big myself up because you guys, I completed a task last night that I have been procrastinating doing for 2 months. So shout to me. And you know, I gotta say this for all of my procrastinators. You know what ended up making me finish it? It was like, you know, if you do it, it'll be done. Did you know that? If you do it, it'll be done. So there's that. Like, that was literally what came to me. If you do it, it will be done. Because it has been this like monkey in the back of my mind. Anytime I think, okay, I can do this, it's like, nope, because you didn't do that one thing. And since you didn't do that one thing, everything else you're doing is just you not doing that one thing. So there we go. I did what I was supposed to do. I got one more task that's been on my head. One more task. And I know if I do it, it'll be done. Laurel said I sent a Christmas gift off 2 weeks ago. That is amazing. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Ooh, I love that so much. Oh, that was a good laugh. That made my stomach hurt. Let me tell y'all, my level of productivity yesterday was so next level. So I went to a laundromat because I had to wash like a big comforter that just wasn't going to get washed at my house. So I was like, I'm about to go to the laundromat and do it. First of all, this laundromat was next level. Like this was some, I don't know, like SpaceX laundromat. It was popping. The music was popping. It had like cards instead of coins. It was just very high quality laundromat. It was also expensive. Like, why is it costing me $12 to use the large machine? That doesn't feel excessive, y'all? I don't know. I just don't remember laundromats being that expensive. High quality laundromat. I don't remember it being that expensive. But yes, $12. It was a big jaunt, but it was still $12. And I just felt like that was OD. But nonetheless, but then the dryer was only, the dryer was 50 cents per 7 minutes. 50 cents per 7 minutes. So it ended up being $2.50 for the dryer. And then they had like a line on the door of it that said, if your clothes fill up to this line, you really only need 25 to 30 minutes. So, yeah, I felt like it was a bit much, but I also felt like I was paying for the experience. Like it was a very clean, they had everything you needed there. The dryer was quick AF. There was no older dryer, Sharon. Everything was brand new. Everything was brand new. It did have a velvet rope. Isabel, it did have a velvet rope. How about that? There was a velvet rope at the laundromat. You know what? And now that I think about it, I actually didn't look what was behind that velvet rope, but there was a velvet rope at the laundromat. I swear to you. And I will go back today and I will take a picture and I will post it on Instagram. I will post it on Patreon. There was a velvet rope. Yes. I'm going to go back today. Shout out to the people on Substack who just came over from YouTube to join Substack. Welcome. Appreciate you. So the 1 week a day shows, Mario, are going to be on Wednesdays starting in August. So I went to the laundromat and then I was able to, while at the laundromat, I was able to mail off a box to my mom for Mother's Day. I was also able to go to the Petco and get the cat food that my cat, I've been trying out different cat foods and he likes this particular one. Mando likes this particular one. So I went over there. I was also able to go to Home Goods and get like a wood trough because I saw somebody on Instagram who made like a charcuterie for the birds. A charcuterie for the birds. Yes. So I am working on that. And so I did all of that and started on the task that I had been procrastinating on while my clothes were washing. So when I tell you, your girl did all the things yesterday. I did all of that in 2 hours. How bonkers is that? No, that was like 1 hour. I did all of that in like 1 hour. Yes, Delisa follows that page. It's so beautiful. And I had a bunch of apples that were like not really like the kind of, like I felt like they were past what I would want to eat, but I didn't want to get rid of them. So what I did was I put them out by where the deer be walking. And when I came back, the deer had eaten the apples. Y'all, the deer had eaten the apples. The deer had eaten the apples. So now I got a deer camera that I'm going to put on the tree so that I can see the deer eat the apples. Now, what I noticed was that they had eaten like one side of the apples. So what I think I'm going to do is I have these like stakes that I was going to use for the garden. And I think what I'm going to do instead is put the stakes up and then put the apples on the stakes. Like how in old Korean times, they would put like severed heads on stakes to let people know we just got your ass. Yeah. So I'm going to do that with the apples so that so that what they can do is they can eat like one side of the apple and then I can like turn it around for them. And I had actually also put some greens outside for the raccoons. So I got to go and check and see if the raccoons got the greens. I do live in the Shire, Hema. Y'all don't understand. I do live in the Shire. I'm about to put a hammock up. We about to put a hammock up. And I say we because me and my landscaper be here plotting. Me and my landscaper be here plotting. He's like, yeah, let's get a hammock going. Okay. And then, like I said, we're about to plant some hostas. And hostas are for they're a food that the deer love. They love a hosta. Okay? They love a hosta. Yes. So I got chipmunks, I got raccoons, I got hella birds, I got deer. I also have a woodchuck that lives around these parts. You better know that. Snow bliggity black. Yeah. So I'm really trying to sanctuary it up in my space. That's what I'm really trying to do. I want, and then in my fish pond, I have 12 fish and I have 2 frogs. The frogs' names are Aussie and Ruby D. And the fish are named for the Wu-Tang Clan and also additional Wu-Tang Clan members like Masakilla and Capitana. I actually don't have hummingbirds. No. Not yet. I haven't seen any in like Grig. In like, I feel like maybe I see one, but like not in like not the way I see bluebirds. Like bluebirds is running the spot. Okay. Bluebirds is around here and they're like, this is our spot. Relax. Relax. Yes. Wu-Tang forever. Wu-Tang Clan and Iron Man lead us to the promised land. Yeah. My home is a dream. I do sing out in the garden, of course. So I have to, in order for the hammock to work, I have to put a bolt, like I have to put a screw in the trees. And so I went and talked to the trees and asked them if it was going to be cool. And I genuinely felt like they were like, it's fine. I genuinely felt like they were like, it's fine. Do I see hawks? Baby, not only do I see hawks, I see eagles. It was an eagle that came to me and said, you need to get out of your book deal. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, wait, what? You can get your backyard certified as a wildlife habitat? Say word. But y'all, this is the type of stuff that's on my Patreon all the time. The backyard and the things that's going on in the backyard, that's what happens on my Patreon. So here's the thing. I was talking to my landscaper about the hammock that doesn't require you to put the bolt in the tree. And he was like, well, in order for you to use the one that's on a frame, you don't have any level land. So we would have to literally come here and like level the land. Then he was like, you could use the straps, but he was like, I gotta feel like the straps would actually be more harmful to the tree because he said the straps would constrict the tree. And he said the constriction of the tree is actually gonna harm the tree. Because now the tree is like being, so he was like, I feel like the bolt is just in the tree, but the tree is also growing. And you're just adding links to the tree. So that's why I couldn't use the one that's on the frame because my house is on a hill. Now, I was talking to the trees yesterday. I do have neighbors. I do feel like they saw me talking to the trees. I'm pretty sure that my Korean neighbors saw me talking to trees because they be watching me, which I actually like. Because if they're watching me, then if something go left, they're going to be like, hold on, call the cops. And then the cops is going to come and then they're going to make it even worse. So what I really need to do is to let them know who to call if they see something happening while they're watching me. That's what I need to do. They need to call Brother Amir. Now, Kismet J, you know full well I hugged both them trees. Now, you know I hugged both them trees. Yes. It is absolutely neighborhood watch. I told y'all that my Korean neighbors literally said, we thought you were Korean. And I was like, why? They said, because we can see your TV and you always watching Korean dramas. 감사합니다. Yeah. I was trying to learn Korean. My ear don't take to it. My ear don't take to it. It's so many syllables. So many syllables. So many. Okay, this is a good idea. Maybe put in some big, deep fence posts to screw into. That sounds like a great option as well. I'm going to run that by Barry. Yep. I'm going to run that by Barry. And thank you for sharing some links with the garden. So they're going to be installing the garden either tomorrow or Friday, and I'm going to document it on my Patreon. And is it a tonal language? Yeah, probably yes. I know Chinese is very much a tonal language. Like the same word can mean mother or like F you. Like in both Cantonese and Mandarin. Like Mandarin is next level. Like just going yeah and going yeah is like, how dare you? So yeah. All right, well, I got stuff to do. And I'm going to try and get my life together. And we didn't do a do I even have a PSA for today? Let me just think for a second. Do I have a PSA for today? Wu-Tang Clan. Wu-Tang Clan and Iron Man. AmandaLand. PSA. Y'all, stand up for yourself with let me get it together. Stand up for yourself with customer service. And if you work customer service, stop protecting the company like it's yourself. What I mean by this is that I have found in a number of scenarios where customer service be responding to my questions as if I am like disrespecting their company and you not the owner of the company. I have had 4 situations in the past few months where there has been some scenario where I have been disregarded and mistreated. And each time I have said something about it. And each time it has been corrected. Okay? And I want to say this because we get taught that that means we're difficult. Now, let me tell you something. My ex, one time, he ordered some shrimps. Was it shrimps? He ordered some crispy shrimps from P.F. Chang's. When the shrimps arrived, the shrimps was not crispy. He called P.F. Chang's and said, I ordered the crispy shrimps. The shrimps is not crispy. And they said, well, what you want us to do about it? He said, well, I want to come and pick up some crispy shrimps. And they said, well, what we're going to do is not only are we going to give you the shrimps, we're going to put the sauce on the side to help preserve the crispery for you. And he said, all right. And I said, so you about to go pick up the shrimps? He said, yes, I am. And he went and he got the shrimp. And when he came back, he was much happier. He was much happier about the shrimp. The shrimps were crispy now. And he put the sauce on. And I remember in that moment saying to myself, you know, I would have probably not done anything about it. And I would have just sucked it up because I don't want to be difficult. And so now I do not play that. I will tell you about some scenarios. I had a scenario earlier this month earlier this year where I had ordered a product that was presented to me in a proof version that was the product. The proof was not a drawing. It wasn't an AI created image. It was the actual product. When I received the product was not resembling what I had ordered. I emailed them and said, oh, I got the wrong thing. They said, oh, no, it's not the wrong thing. It's just that the ink is different on this one, blase, boom. And I was like, so how are we going to rectify this? And they said, well, we can give you a 25% refund. I said, that's not going to cut it, baby. And also I needed to order more because I had already put them up for sale. And now I need to order more. And they said, well, we're not going to be able to make you more. So we can give you maybe 50%. Our boss is on vacation. I said, baby, that's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order the rest of them that I need. And then I would like you to not charge me for expediting them because I need them immediately. She hit me back and said, not only are we not going to do that, but we do not want you to order from us again because this has been too difficult. And I replied, noted. Process my refund immediately. Now, the owner had been CC'd every time. The owner then hits me the next day and is like, whoa, apologies. This was not how this was supposed to go. We unfortunately cannot offer you the free order. I said, I didn't ask for the free order. I asked for the order to be expedited for free. That's what I asked for. She said, can we get on the phone? Sure can. We got on the phone the next day and she was like, okay, so just want to apologize. I said, let me tell you something. The employees did not feel empowered to give me a refund, but she felt empowered to tell me that she wasn't going to allow me to order from you anymore. So there needs to be a conversation with the people that are helping with this business. She said, you're completely right. Not only did she give me the order, not only was it expedited, she sent it to me for free. She sent it to me for free. I'll tell you another story. All my Patreon folks know all these stories. I'll tell you another story. I had a new vet. Went to new vet. This new vet is in the middle of examining my cat and starts talking about anti-Semitism. And I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, oh, the news is anti-Semitic. Everything on the news is anti-Semitic these days, every day. And I was like, what is on the news that's anti-Semitic? I don't see anything anti-Semitic on the news. If anything, everything about the news is calling everybody anti-Semitic. And they said, no, it's anti-Semitic. I said, is this anti-Semitic? And then I lifted up my sweatshirt and I had on a Free Palestine shirt. And he said, no, that's not anti-Semitic. That's just terrorists that are, harassing the people and not allowing for... No, he said that's just terrorists that are not allowing for hostages to be sent back and, are really messed up for attacking Israel on October 7th. And I said, give me my cat and let me go. Give me my cat so I can go. He was like, let's just not talk politics. Let's just not talk politics. I said, we're not talking politics. We're talking humanity. And you're here trying to defend the forced starvation of a people. Give me my cat so I can go. And y'all, Huri, she minded her black business and got in the carrier and was like, let's go. And on the way out, I yelled, but when I hit that front door, I yelled, and for the record, they're killing animals in Palestine as well. Bill me. And I left. Now, some people might have said, dang, Amanda, you always in conflict. You always starting something. Baby, I'm always finishing something. So that's what I need y'all to understand. There's a difference between starting something and finishing something. I'm always finishing something. So then the actual hospital manager emails me and is like, I want to apologize for everything that took place today. Can we please get on the phone? We did get on the phone, and Mario, he said, I got to tell you, that doctor is a very caring doctor. He loves animals. So I don't know why he would bring that up while examining a patient. I don't know why he would do that. Same. And so we ended up getting clear on everything. And he was like, we're going to talk to him. Don't trust me. Because, you're never the first for the BS. Just so you know that. I know sometimes you may feel like, well, I don't want to be the one starting it. You're never the one starting it. There's always somebody who has complained before you, or there's always somebody who has noticed it before you, but didn't feel like they could complain. And so when you come to complain, they're like, dang, all right, well, we couldn't get away with it anymore. So I went back. I was greeted with candy. So that made me happy. I was greeted with candy. And when I went back, I was really happy that I was being treated by the owner of the hospital. So that was another thing. I was being treated by the owner of the hospital. She knew what she was doing. She knew what she was on. She knew what she was about. And I feel like there was just a very heightened level of sensitivity for just understanding that what I had experienced was simply not acceptable. It was just not acceptable. And when I left, I was proud of myself because I had handled it and I hadn't stayed quiet about it. And some people might say, Amanda, you should have stayed quiet about it. Why? Why? Because then I wouldn't have had the argument. But if I'm able to have the argument, then I'm going to have it. And let me tell you, I told this to the guy too. I said, these conversations are going to be happening more often because people are holding on to their identities in really disparate ways. People are really scared about being themselves now because they know that honestly, they are in danger of having to consider themselves differently. They know that. So they're going to be trying to have these grasping at straws conversations with anybody. And I wasn't playing around either. I went in there and I said, let me just see if these people gon' how they gon' act. So I wore a particular sweatshirt. I said, are we gonna keep it real cool? Are we gonna keep it cute? Let's see. And so this is the sweatshirt that I wore, y'all. Shout out to AHUS. I wore the Blue Lives Matter sweatshirt. What y'all really about? Is we really about it here or nah? What are we really about here? Mando. And so that was that. They kept it cool. I kept it cool. Now, the other day, I had a situation where I was talking to Sweetwater Sounds. Sweetwater Sounds is a place like a music. It's like Guitar Center. They sell equipment, etc. I called them because I have speakers that are missing a cord. And they always call me after I order and say, do you need help with anything? So I called the person who calls me every time. This guy named Will, he calls me every time. So I called him and he was like, oh, let me transfer you over to customer support. Now, when he transferred me over to customer support, I ended up pressing the wrong button and then I didn't even know how to get to customer support. So I called him back. And I said, let me just ask a question real quick. What is your role in this scenario? Because I called you because you always call me asking me if I need help with anything. And now you're transferring me to somebody else. And he said, well, really I'm here to find out if there's anything else you need in terms of equipment, etc. I said, oh, so you're the capitalist in this. You're the one who is here to see if I'm going to spend any more money. That's what your role is. Okay. He said, well, I mean, that seems to be, and I said, okay, well, am I understanding that correctly? And he said, well, you seem to have made up your mind. I said, well, I mean, I literally just asked you, am I understanding that correctly? So no, I haven't made up my mind. He said, well, what do you want from me? I said, well, I would have liked some customer service. I mean, if you had called me and said, I did contact the support system, they're going to be sending you a cord, that would have ended it. But you're actually putting me to work now. You're putting me to work. And he was like, you know what? How about we just give you a refund? And I said, all right, then fine, because you shouldn't have this job. And no, actually, I'm skipping a whole part. So then after I was like, I would have appreciated some customer service, he got quiet and I said, is there a problem? Is it my tone of voice? Is that a problem? And he said, yes, your tone of voice is mean and loud. And I said, well, this is how I speak. I am autistic, and part of it is how I speak. So this is not going to change. This is how I talk. I talk loud and directly. And he said, well, you're talking mean to me. I said, I'm not talking mean to you. I said, I'm speaking to you directly. And this is literally how I speak. So if you're taking it personally, please don't, because it is not a personal attack. This is just how I talk. And I mean, would you be able to give me customer service if I spoke softly? And he was like, you know what? How about this? I'll just give you a refund and we'll call it a day. I said, fine. You shouldn't have this job. I got off the phone. He called me back. And said, I'm calling back because I don't know if the phone got disconnected. I said, no, I hung up. I hung up the phone because you keep telling me that the way I speak is mean and loud. And I've already explained to you that it is attributed to my autism, and you refuse to acknowledge that or to accept that. And you keep trying to disrespect me. So I'm not going to continue to let me disrespect me. And he said, well, you know what? I'm actually not going to offer you the refund anymore. I said, oh, for real? You not offering the refund? I said, well, now I will be mean and loud. F you, Will. F you. So I got off the phone. And then I got on Instagram. Now, I don't use Instagram unless I'm trying to amplify something. It might be amplifying the Freedom Flotilla. It might be amplifying it might be amplifying a free show. Or it might be amplifying that I deserve some correction. And within 3 hours, Sweetwater contacted me directly and said that was absolutely not how we roll. We are refunding you for the speaker, and we have contacted the manufacturer, and they are sending you the cord. That was unacceptable. We completely apologize. That was not how things work here. I'm giving you all those stories because all those stories include examples of customer service that are both negative and positive. And now we have someone here, Venus Love. As someone who worked in customer service, you really were giving him a hard time. He can't help that we live in a capitalist society. Well, Venus Love, I wasn't giving him a hard time. If he is a salesperson and he works there and they find time to call me after every time that I buy something, but they don't have time to actually rectify the problem, then what am I doing? What is the point? He can't help that we are in a capitalist society, but he can absolutely help how he engages in that capitalist society. So, Venus Love, you're Venus wrong. Venus wrong. Several opportunities to de-escalate the issue. He took it personal when the reality was, if you call me and you say, we wanted to find out if you need help with anything, and then I ask you for the help and you direct me to someone else. Now, mind you, if he had said, I called and got you the cord, is there anything else we can help you with in your setup? I would have been very obliged to hear any suggestions that he had for improving my setup. Like, that's what happens when you are a salesperson. You create an environment where people feel like I can be supported in this beyond just being a consumer. That's it. So if your only point of calling me is to get me to buy something, you're not really helping me. Build a relationship. That was a long public sales announcement, but I feel like it was one that we all grew on. I feel like it was one that we've all grown from, especially Venus.
PSA.
Hey, come on now. Show your love. Show your love. Thank you for everyone who dropped a super in the chat. I appreciate you. Shout to Kim Hassan for joining us today, and Angelica Ross. We have such a great time. It's such a great show. And this is what we do Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern, here at Views from AmandaLand. Make sure to go check out the latest episode of Small Doses Podcast, Side Effects of Socialism. I've really given up on trying to make any kind of bread off of this. So that's why I turned off the monetization during the show. I'm doing Views from AmandaLand for the free ski. I mean, I literally make like $1,000 on Instagram, and I'm doing a show and shorts and cuts and all type of stuff. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So the supers, they go a long way. And Tiffany said, "Oh, so we cursing now?" We not cursing now, but you're not going to have to sit through any ads during the show. I'll just put the ads on after. It just is what it is. If you want to really support me, subscribe to my Patreon. It's $5 a month. You get a bunch of content. You get a bunch of community. And, you're also going to get access to my writings before they happen, before they post to Substack. And we are going to be doing, more passage posses and all the things. So that's what we're doing. You guys, again, are in the midst of me really figuring out my life. So if you're like, dang, she'd be changing up all the time, it's because your girl is trying to figure it out. Your girl's trying to figure it out. Your girl has been basically living the same life for the last 9-ish years in LA. So now that I'm back on the East, I'm just, I'm adjusting. So adjusting with me is something I appreciate that you all are doing, because it is a process, and it is one that I am still in the process of doing, to keep it quite honest. So shout out to everyone for giving supers, for dropping in the Cash App. Jumping in the Cash App, baby. In the Cash App, baby. And let's get into some 30 seconds of stillness. 30 seconds of stillness. I enjoyed laughing and learning with you. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell your friends. Also, listen to the podcast. It's available everywhere pods are casted. Listen ad-free by subscribing to Patreon Amanda Seals. Come on and join the Seals Squad. Views from AmandaLand. Live 10 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Wednesday, with content on Thursday and Friday at YouTube Amanda Seals TV.